everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for one of our sessions in the Elevate Her Women in STEM virtual options here. I have with me the Spider Bits. They have come together in order to engage us and share with us ways that we can recruit and retain more females for our robotics teams. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Aditi, the captain of SpiderBits, and let them take the floor. So thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Shelly. Yeah, thank you all for being here and watching this video today. And we're going to be discussing how you can get more women engaged in your first team. So before we get started, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Aditi Chinashetty. I'm captain of SpiderBits 17219, and I've been on the team for about 6 years. And I've worked in all types of different sectors within our robotics team, from working on the code for our robot to working on outreach and really getting more women interested in STEM fields and FIRST in general, as well as recruiting more women onto our team. And I'll have my co-presenters also represent themselves as well.
Hi, my name is Adia Chanesheti. I've been on the team for around 3 years now, and I serve as code lead on the team while working heavily in outreach as well.
Hi, my name is Neha Parapalli, and I have been on the team for 3 years as well, and I am also code lead.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. So before we get started, I want to go over some statistics about women in STEM with you all today. 26% of the workforce working in computer and mathematical sciences are women. 16% of the workforce working in engineering fields are women, and 35% of the STEM workforce constitutes of women. While these numbers have been growing in the past few years, there's always much more room for growth for making the various STEM fields more equitable and accessible to all different types of genders. And this is what we're here to discuss with you all today on the different ways and activities that you can do with your first team to make sure that there's different ways for you guys to recruit more women in STEM and make sure that your team is extremely diverse and inclusive as possible to make sure everyone feels included and involved in robotics. So why is this important, you may ask? First mission is to create more opportunities for all groups in STEM, and the disparity and gender gap in the STEM workforce is a problem we can all work together to address. By truly hosting activities with your first team that engage all groups in STEM and reach out to multiple different groups and diverse groups around your local community, you can truly get more women interested in your team and get more women engaged in STEM overall. So here are some common challenges that women and young girls may face when joining robotics. First is that robotics may feel like a male-dominated field and can feel intimidating at first. So oftentimes when young girls try to join robotics teams, they may feel like there's not enough people who look like them that are succeeding in these fields if there aren't any women on the team, or if they aren't really marketing themselves as an inclusive team. And this can truly deter young girls who may be interested in robotics and interested in STEM from truly pursuing their interests just because they feel like they may feel left out in these groups. Another common barrier to entry is that some girls may lack prior experience or confidence in these fields. Oftentimes, a lot of young students may not feel like they know enough to really succeed in STEM fields, or they may not feel good enough or smart enough to pursue robotics as a career of theirs, as an extracurricular of theirs. And this is why it's so important to make sure that there are a lot of learning paths for people to learn about your team and understand how inclusive it is and how your first team can truly help students learn and grow as they continue joining robotics and trying new things. Another common barrier to entry is that there are few visible role models in STEM who may represent women. The gender gap, as I mentioned before, has become increasingly large in STEM fields. And by having fewer role models in STEM fields, young girls may feel like they don't have enough people, again, representing them in activities like robotics or other STEM activities, and this could further deter them from joining robotics teams. Additionally, gender stereotypes about technical versus non-technical roles and how women fit into these roles can really make young girls feel like they do not have the skills or the intelligence to really succeed in robotics. For example, a girl may feel like they are more fit for a more non-technical role like a secretary rather than an engineer because they may not feel like they're smart enough or they don't have enough resources to pursue this field just because of their gender, which can be an extremely large common barrier to entry and can really deter students from joining robotics. Some retention challenges that students may face is that there can be fewer leadership opportunities for women because they feel like there's not enough people on their team who are supporting them, who are really making them feel like they belong and that they're being able to really succeed in that position without having a lot of their peers supporting them or having an inclusive environment where they feel like they can be themselves and be a leader in those fields, which can lead to fewer leadership opportunities. Another retention challenge is that girls, again, sometimes feel like they don't belong. If your first team may not have a lot of resources for them to feel inclusive or a lot of people, a lot of other women on your team, many young girls may feel like they don't belong or they don't have enough friends on the team or a multitude of different reasons where they feel like they don't have enough of a support system to continue participating in robotics. And finally, without a strong mentorship team for students on your team, they may feel like they don't have enough support to succeed in their interest in STEM. And this could lead them to truly feeling like they aren't good enough for robotics, they don't have enough supporters for their pursuit of STEM of interest in robotics, and this can really deter them from continuing to pursue robotics. So, as I mentioned before, having an inclusive team culture is extremely crucial in making sure that young girls feel like they are able to be represented in STEM fields and feel like they have a role in STEM fields. And there are 3 different pillars that I'd like to highlight to how to have an inclusive team culture. The first one is empowerment. By encouraging female members to take on leadership roles, to take on technical tasks, to take on anything that they're interested in, you're encouraging these members to really feel like they have what it takes to succeed in STEM fields, and that even though they may not understand things all at once, they have a support system that's there for them and that continuously supports them throughout their journey in STEM, throughout their different interests. So empowerment is extremely important in making sure that your student is having, or that a young student is having a good time being a part of robotics rather than feeling discluded because of their gender. Another extremely important pillar is guidance. By providing consistent mentorship and structured support for students who may not feel like they belong or may feel a little bit hesitant about joining a robotics team because of their gender, more students can feel more comfortable in really pursuing their interests and may even feel more comfortable about speaking out about their ideas, may feel more comfortable about taking on harder tasks or even tasks that they don't know much about and trying new things on the team, which can really make them feel like STEM and robotics is a place for them and is a safe space for them to grow. And finally, inclusion. By ensuring that everyone has a chance to work on technical aspects or even aspects that just interest them, we're making sure that every student has an opportunity to work on their interests and can feel included. So by making sure that there's a really feel and that constant team of an inclusive team culture is very important to making sure that young women can succeed in robotics and then can go on to pursue STEM fields. So I wanted to ask a couple of people based on the demographic of your team, if you guys could either scan this QR code or go to this following link and scan whether how many members of your team identify as women, if it's under 50%, at 50%, or over 50%. And I'll let you all do that for a couple of minutes. Okay, so it looks like we have a bit of a split here. Seems like one person has a team with over 50% of their members, and other people have teams with under 50% of their members identifying as women. So the goal of this webinar for today is to really get your team over that 50% mark to ensure that there's more of a diverse spread of women and men on your first team, to ensure that all kinds of groups and all genders have an equal opportunity to succeed in STEM and have STEM opportunities. So this leads me into our team's SpiderBits Outreach Initiative. The SpiderBits Outreach Initiative is a program within our team that goes to several different STEM events to truly advocate for women and underrepresented genders' success in STEM. So we visited local elementary middle schools, STEM fairs, and various other STEM opportunities to spread and share STEM concepts and robotics concepts specifically to diverse groups. These specifically target women and underrepresented genders and give them hands-on tools to join FIRST programs so that they're able to truly understand the impact that their interest in STEM can have if they do end up deciding to join a FIRST team. And this can be a great way to recruit more women on your team, as well as making sure that your team has a wide reach in different to different types of people. And with that, I'd like to hand it off to Neha Parapelli to talk about the different programs that the SpiderBits Outreach Initiative offers.
We have implemented several unique programs as part of our initiative to expand outreach, ensuring that we reach a broad and diverse audience. One of our key outreach initiatives involves collaborating with Girl Scout troops. We have participated in multiple events with Girl Scouts, including partnerships with the University of Maryland, Fulton Elementary School Girl Scouts, and our upcoming event with Girl Scouts at Veterans Elementary School. Planning these events requires building strong connections within the community. By reaching out to local Girl Scout troops, we can not only introduce them to robotics, but also help them earn badges that recognize their achievements. Additionally, these events serve as an excellent way to spread awareness about FIRST and our team's mission. For example, at the UMD event, we guided Girl Scouts in earning 3 different badges, while also providing them with an interactive demonstration of our robot. This activity gathered significant attention and engagement, particularly guided towards FIRST programs. We were able to organize this event thanks to a connection our team captain had with the head of the Brendan Tribe Initiative at UMD. This highlights the importance of personal and team connections to further outreach. Over 100 young girls attended this event, where they not only learned about STEM, but also had the opportunity to engage with our team members. To ensure they remember us and have the means to reach out in the future, we handed out brochures and shared our contact information. One of our largest community outreach programs is the annual Girl Power Expo. This event is dedicated to empowering and motivating young women in STEM fields. Hosted at Johns Hopkins every March, Girl Power provides an excellent opportunity for us to showcase our latest progress and demonstrate our competition robot from the season. This event serves as one of our most effective recruiting opportunities as it attracts girls from various age groups who are interested in STEM and FIRST programs. It also allows us to share our personal experiences as members of an all-girls robotics team, inspiring more young women to pursue careers in STEM fields. To maintain engagement, we collect contact information from students who express interest and follow up with them to encourage further participation. Another major aspect of our outreach efforts is attending STEM fairs throughout our community. STEM fairs organized by various institutions and organizations allow us to connect with a diverse range of students and encourage them to explore robotics. These events provide a unique opportunity to interact with students who may not otherwise have exposure to STEM programs. Our primary event in this category is the Maryland STEM Festival, which has enabled us to reach students with a wide variety of backgrounds. Through these events, we have successfully sparked interest in robotics and gained new particularly among middle and high school students who are eager to get involved but don't know how. In addition to our community outreach, we actively seek partnerships with organizations dedicated to promoting women in STEM. We have collaborated with UMD to host a Girl Scouts event, reinforcing the importance of higher education institutes and outreach efforts. Additionally, our team became a First Ladies Ambassador, which has allowed us to extend our reach further within the FIRST community. As a part of this role, we led a lightning talk at APL to inspire women in technology, encouraging young students to pursue careers in STEM fields. These efforts enhance both our outreach bandwidth and our network of contacts, opening doors to new partnerships and opportunities. For teams looking to expand their outreach efforts, we strongly encourage forming partnerships with local universities and STEM organizations. Another crucial aspect of our outreach strategy is partnering with schools to introduce STEM education to students who might not otherwise have an opportunity to engage with it. While we focus on inspiring all students regardless of gender, school events provide an excellent platform for raising awareness about our team and encouraging students to explore robotics. These events are particularly impactful because they occur during school hours, allowing students who may not have resources to join after-school clubs to participate. A great example of this success is one of our rookie members, Cora, who joined our team after attending our CAD presentation at Patuxent Valley Middle School. Events like these create a welcoming environment where students feel comfortable exploring STEM alongside their peers, which also reduces intimidation and fosters curiosity. Finally, our team is committed to giving back to the FIRST community through mentorship. Over the past few years, we have mentored 3 different FLL teams, or First LEGO League teams, and we have provided guidance and support for them throughout their seasons. Our mentorship program helps younger students develop technical skills, teamwork, and confidence, and we're able to share what we learned during our season to help them learn further. And we are able to ensure that they have a strong foundation as they continue their journey in STEM. By investing time in mentoring younger teams, we are not only strengthening the future of FIRST, but also creating a sustainable impact that will inspire the next generation of engineers and innovators.
One of the biggest questions that we get asked when attending our outreach events is, do you need to have any prior experience in order to join our team? The answer is no, because we do not believe that any potential girls who are interested in robotics should feel the need to have additions or be an expert in coding before joining robotics. To build on this and help build their confidence before they join our team, we host summer sessions before the season starts in order to provide potential members and anyone interested in learning an introduction to robotics, whether it be introduction to Java, introduction to CAD concepts, so that they have a strong foundation in robotics related subjects before the season starts. When girls have a strong foundation in the material that they are working with and learning, they will feel more confident and more likely to join the team in the first place due to their increase in knowledge. One of the most crucial ways that we build and sustain relationships with the people that we network with at events is noting down their contacts and information. By noting down their information and continuously sending them emails throughout our seasons, we are able to build those relationships by continuously reaching out to people that may be interested in joining the team. Even if they cannot join the team at that moment in the season, by continuously emailing them, we are able to remind them about the amazing opportunity to join the robotics team and the different events that we have for them to get involved and get interested in first. As for team structure, one of the biggest ways that we help girls build confidence is by prioritizing a 100% student-led team. This means that all of our leadership and all of our code leads and build leads are all led by the students in order to help them build those skills of networking. By having leadership in girls are inspired by seeing role models who are just a few years older than them or around the same age in order for them to eventually build up to becoming those leaders and getting roles in leadership positions. Having girls in leadership positions makes the team seem welcoming and more open to other girls joining. Now we have Prathana Srimath, a student who joined SpiderBits after a lack of inclusivity in her other team.
Hello, I'm Prarthana, and this is my first year on the SpiderBits FTC team. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about my experience with robotics. Before joining SpiderBits, I was on another robotics team where the majority of the members were male, so I was one of the few girls on the team. While that experience definitely gave me a solid introduction to robotics, joining SpiderBits has really opened my eyes to so much more. One of the things I've loved about SpiderBits is how much emphasis is placed on collaboration. It's not just about building robots, but also about sharing ideas and working together as a team. Everyone's voice is heard, and I think that's just made a huge difference in how I've been able to grow and learn. As someone new to the team, I've been especially grateful for the support from the senior members as they've been incredibly encouraging and have made it easier for me to get involved and contribute. That kind of teamwork and encouragement is something I hadn't experienced before. So I've always had a passion for robotics and STEM in general. From a young age, I was fascinated just by how things work, and over time, the interest grew into a passion for building and problem solving. So joining SpiderBits has only fueled that passion even more, and being a part of an all-girls team has been empowering in so many ways, and it's helped me build more confidence in my skills and abilities. One of the things I realized is how important it is to have a supportive community around you, especially in a field like robotics where there's still a need for more women to get involved. SpiderBits has created that kind of environment where everyone pushes each other to succeed. And it's inspiring to see the way everyone works together, and whether we're brainstorming ideas or troubleshooting problems. It's about the shared experience and just making sure everyone feels included and valued. So I'm really grateful to be a part of SpiderBits and just to have that chance to grow alongside a supportive group of people. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Pratna.
We have found on an all-girls team that mentorship is one of the biggest things. When we have female mentors and just mentors that provide an encouraging and safe environment for girls to join our team, girls are more likely to be excited about robotics and feel the want to come to robotics every day and to participate. Mentors who strongly encourage us to work by ourselves and solve problems independently will allow us to create those problem-solving and critical thinking skills, which will allow us to be successful, not just in robotics, but later when we're working in STEM careers in life. Additionally, having female mentors who are all work in the STEM field provides a great source of inspiration for our potential careers in the future and how robotics can be a path to those careers.
So now I'd like to open it up for the mentor question and answer panel. So we have 3 of our mentors here today to answer any questions that any viewers may have regarding our presentation or about how they can get more women interested in STEM onto their own team and how they can be more inclusive. So mentors, if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Sure. I'll go first. I'm Andrea. I am an electrical engineer. I've been supporting and mentoring the SpiderBits and their sister team SpiderBite for about 5 years now.
And hi, I'm Sabrina. I'm also an electrical engineer, and I've been mentoring the SpiderBits and Bytes for a little over 2 years now.
Hey, I'm Madhav. I'm an aerospace engineer, and I've been mentoring the Bits and Bytes for about the same time as Sabrina now, 3 years-ish.
Yeah, so thank you guys for introducing yourselves and for being here to answer any questions people have. I'd like to open it up to any questions or comments that anyone has about our presentation.
So we'll give it a few minutes to see if anything comes in. Oh, good. The first one here is, how can mentors help girls on primarily male teams feel like they belong socially? It's a great question.
Yeah. If any of the mentors want to take that.
Sure. So I guess in high school, I did FRC, and my team was mostly male. There were only a couple females on the team, and I feel like one of the biggest things for me was being treated just the same as any other student, be that male, female. I wasn't really made to feel that I couldn't do anything because of my gender, and that really helped me learn and grow and want to do more and keep on doing robotics and continue doing that. So I feel like just being very inclusive and making sure that you don't make anybody feel that they can't do something, and that their possibilities are endless for everybody on the team.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I think like another thing that maybe that mentors can do to help like students who are primarily on male teams feel like they belong socially is kind of like the events that First Chesapeake is hosting, like being able to like lead them to these kind of events and like the Empower Her events and different events around their community that like specifically target women in STEM to show that, you know, even if maybe there's not too many women on their first team at first, like there's different opportunities for women to be inclusive in STEM. And by becoming like a First Ladies Ambassador or partnering with other all-girls teams, more students on your team may feel more included in being a part of a FIRST robotics team, even if there aren't as many female members on your team as you would like at first.
So the next question, how do you usually find these outreach activities targeted towards girls? Or the most effective ones in recruiting girls for your team?
Yeah, so I can answer that question. And then, so basically, we really wanted to highlight the Girl Power Exposition at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, because that honestly has been one of the main ways and one of the really amazing ways that we've been able to recruit so many members on our team. Since we're based at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, we're able to really like show people like, hey, like we're based here. Like you can sign up here, and a lot of over 300 people usually attend this event, so we're able to reach a very wide variety of young girls who are interested in STEM concepts, which is why we wanted to highlight it specifically, so that any other teams who are out there can actually go out and actually like go to the Girl Power Expo. It happens every year in March. So by going to this event, you can definitely recruit a lot more women on your team. And honestly, any different activity that you do for outreach will be extremely effective, because people will hear about it, even if it doesn't like bring in like 100 responses on your waiting list at first. In the long run, people will remember your name when years later, when they reach that mark where they're eligible to join your First Tech Challenge team. They'll remember, hey, they presented at my school a couple years ago. That happened with one of our members this year, Cora. She was at one of our outreach events and she remembered us and she reached out to us to be on the waiting list, and she's now on the team. So even if it doesn't seem like there's a big impact on like your recruitment process, in the long run, people will remember your name, people will remember your team and what you guys presented, and it will make all the difference in the future. So really, any outreach event that you can do that targets towards any group, not even just girls, will make an event or impact on your recruitment.
So expanding on that a little bit, like Aditi had mentioned, we do, they do collect email addresses, parents, an interest list, and we do maintain a wait list actually. And that when people get off the wait list, it is first come, first serve. We're not competitive. We want to give everybody a chance. It's really about that inclusiveness. And where that wait list come from, it does come from all those events. It might be, them going to the Girl Power. We might get a few folks to sign up. Like we mentioned, we have a couple students who came from other teams because our team, the Spider Bits, did an outreach at their school. It's also word of mouth. We have a number of team members and people on the wait list that they know their friends are on this really awesome inclusive team that they enjoy being on. And so a lot of it is word of mouth of you create that awesome culture that people want to join. People will want to join it. So I think that's a key piece as well.
So for girls who are not old enough to be recruited to a FIRST team, how can you foster interest in STEM?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it kind of highlights the summer sessions that we talked about earlier in our presentation. Adia, would you like to take this question?
Yeah, so the summer sessions are open to anyone who they don't even have to be the required age to join FTC, but they're just interested in learning more about robotics. Through these summer sessions, when we're able to offer an introduction to simple concepts, such as introduction to coding and introduction to CAD, and just kind of really like how it feels to be on a robotics team, those people are able to kind of like build a strong foundation of interest in STEM. Additionally, what we do is we also refer girls who are not that old enough to join our team yet is to join local FLL teams. So First Lego League is a lower program of the First branch, which is open to younger students. So by joining this First Lego League team, many of our members were First Lego League participants in the past. They are able to really create that like foundation of robotics. And then when they've reached middle school in the 7th grade area, they're able to come into robotics like feeling confident and having like some sort of experience before. So yeah, we refer them to other programs, and in our summer sessions, we can teach them some foundational concepts, even if they're not at the right age yet.
Yeah, and to add on to that, as I mentioned earlier, some girls may feel like they aren't smart enough or may not have like the proper skills to really excel in robotics programs. So when students who are younger have the opportunity to get, especially women, like young girls, can have that opportunity to get some robotics exposure before they join our First Tech Challenge team or other First Tech Challenge teams, they have that ability to really make sure that they're going into it with like some kind of background and are excited about it beforehand. So it's definitely a great way to continuously get girls interested in the first program and have more women involved in first.
What are SpiderBit's future plans for expanding its outreach efforts and reaching even more girls and young women interested in STEM?
Yeah. Neha, would you like to take this question?
Yeah, sure. So in past years, we have tried to reach out to more schools, and I think that's definitely a great way we plan on expanding our outreach. Just reaching out to more schools and trying to like do more outreach in our community, like with Girl Scouts. And in past years, we have been attending more STEM festivals, which is something new we added actually I think last year. And that's been a great way to reach more diverse groups of people and more underrepresented people. And we've gotten lots of interest and recruiting from those events as well.
Yeah, and I'd also like to emphasize here that because the teams are very much student led, a lot of these outreach opportunities come from them, and they're the ones organizing, planning, and showing up there. So the younger kids get to see kids very close to their own age group um, in this field and being passionate about it. And I think that's been one of the best and biggest impacts of this team.
Yeah, and to add on to that a little bit as well, we mentioned the Maryland STEM Festival and how we've been a part of many of their different programs, including the STEM parade, STEM fairs that they've hosted, and several different events. And we were actually able to reach out to the Maryland STEM Festival through my position as an ambassador for their program. So one way that other first teams can really get involved in other outreach events in their community is, again, like Sabrina said, like going to the students and asking them for their connections and trying to figure out some partnerships there and finding ways that you guys can collaborate to really bring our shared mission of bringing STEM to all groups.
Yeah, and just to add on to that a little bit, we are trying to implement student-led workshops over the summer during our summer sessions, because by seeing girls their own age lead these workshops and teach the curriculum, girls will be more inspired to that they have the capability to do that too in the future, and they'll be more eager to learn and ready to get an introduction into robotics by seeing students instructing.
What are some challenges you guys have faced in building these partnerships for outreach and in including underrepresented people?
Yeah, so a big challenge that we have faced like throughout the years is maybe feeling like there's not enough like interest in like some of the events. Like some of the events may not have as much participation as we wanted. However, what has really gotten us through is that like even like one student who like joins the thing and like learns about robotics, learns about like a different STEM concept every session that we have is like another student who's going to be engaged in STEM, who sees people who are women and pursuing STEM and succeeding in STEM and feel confident. It's one more student that feels confident that they are able to, take on this challenge, take on the challenge of doing something new, doing something that they never thought they could do and succeeding in it. So really like that was one of our main challenges, like getting a lot of people to join the events. But as Sabrina mentioned earlier, like as word of mouth spread, as like more students like heard about our team and heard about like, what our team was doing, a lot of different schools and Girl Scout troops, as we mentioned earlier, and many different groups who are interested in STEM and want it to be spread to a wider variety of people started reaching out to us. So by, persevering, like at first, if you feel like there's not enough people joining your events or you feel like there's not enough like publicity about your events, just like going through that and continuing to like strive through that, continue presenting, because whoever you reach is going to benefit from your event and people will hear about your team, as I mentioned earlier. Even if the product of your hard work isn't like visible at first, like at the end of the day, people will hear about your team through your events. They'll remember you and they'll remember the work that you've done with their students.
So I have a question. So one of the things that I just want to note, I think that the outreach that you're bringing to your community is fantastic. My daughter, who's now a graduate of FTC program and has moved into the alumni category, she learned about FTC and FLL from a Girl Scout outreach in our area. That's what intrigued her. That's what made her curious. And then when she went to a summer session with that same team, the other young women on the team sort of brought her under their wing. She was a rather shy individual, and this really helped her feel comfortable. And so the things you're describing, I think, are amazing because I've seen it in my own child. With all that being said, one question that I think mentors might be wondering is how your team balances this level of outreach with the robot like build and competition and all of those aspects of being an FTC team. How do you guys balance the two?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I've acted as outreach lead on my team for several years, and I kind of do that async or like synchronously, like at the same time, with like the robotics competition. I've also been code lead on the team for several years and worked on the coding aspects of the robot. And the main way that I'm able to do this is by dedicating some time outside of meetings as well to work on like, checking emails, emailing different schools and different individuals to organize events. And one of the greatest ways that we've been able to like make sure that all of our team members are able to participate is having like a Google form where members fill out like what events they can attend and what they can't attend. And based on that, we're able to make sure there's an equal distribution of members at different events. As if Adia or Neha, you want to add on to that through your experiences being on the outreach team as well.
So just to add on to that a little bit, another thing that we do try to do is make sure that we don't really schedule big outreach events at the same time that we have upcoming qualifiers or the championship coming up. So for example, we tried to prioritize doing as much outreach as we can in kind of like the off season when we're not as focused on building the robot, as that is the priority at that moment and has a more of a time constraint. And we try to use the summer when first is ongoing and kind of like the spring period to work on outreach and really prioritize that during those seasons, as well as fundraising, as we have more time and we don't have to work on the robot and coding and building the robot as well.
I just wanted to quickly add that I think even outreach at the qualifiers is also really important. Like a couple months prior to joining the team, I actually volunteered at one of the qualifier events where I found out about SpiderBits, and I was able to see not only like the matches and everything, but also like the board where they talked about their outreach and everything. So I think that even at the qualifier events, it's like really important too.
That's a really great point. Oh, we have another question coming in. What are the most common misconceptions young women have about pursuing a career in STEM? And how does SpiderBits work to break those misconceptions down?
Yeah,
so
that's... Okay, go ahead.
So I think a really large common misconception is that as big as it is to be a part of a team like this, a lot of women think that they can't have leadership positions on a team. So I think one of the biggest things we do to break those misconceptions down, being an all-girls team, is giving everyone opportunities. Like as new as they are to the team or as little experience as they have, everyone has a chance to learn and to run for captain or junior captain and to try to like lead in a position like many of our team members. Like I started off on the team as a code member, and this was my first season as a code lead, and that's been a great experience, just working with new people and trying to like rise up and be more of a leader.
Yeah, as Neha mentioned, we really prioritize being 100% student-led, as we said before. So having like, the young girls at summer sessions, at outreach events, at any event where our team is together, having them really see that like we're the ones who are creating this robot, who are working together to really do this great thing and work in STEM, has been one of the best ways that we've been able to break the misconception that like women are not able to, pursue or thrive in STEM or are not able to pursue STEM, or they're not able to really have a good time in robotics. So that's the main way we do it, by having like visually how they can see that we're the ones leading and we're the ones who are making the robot.
Yeah, and just to add on to that a little bit, I would say that our team really works to drive away the stereotype that women need like the help of a male team member, because as an all girls team, we are all women, not just a majority woman team. So really just like having that idea that, okay, like women are capable of doing all of this like by themselves, and they don't need the help and support of a male counterpart in order to complete and achieve the same task.
So I have another question. I think this is so fascinating. I love listening to you all. So you guys are a community team. And so I think you guys have quite a bit more flexibility in terms of how you operate over the course of a year. Do you have any suggestions or ideas for teams that are bound by a school year in terms of what they can do in order to increase membership on their teams from a female perspective, but also with some of your ideas around outreach?
Yeah, so I can take this question. I would say that even though some teams are kind of dependent on the school and they might be dependent on a mentor who is an employee within their school and therefore not available during the off season and during the summer, there's a lot of work that students can do in their own time that they don't really need like the resources and the support of the school for. So I would say that social media is a big thing, because by promoting your team on social media, maybe even during the summer, you don't really need the resources that you would need like in person at your school, but you are still able to connect with other people online and really make an impact. Another way you can do this is by reaching out to other teams online and seeing if you can host some sort of outreach events with them, because by connecting with other teams, you guys are able to both of you make an impact and really like create interest in STEM, because they would promote it towards the connections that they have, and you report to the connections that you have. So I would say even if you are dependent on kind of like a school and the teachers within that school or the faculty, there's a lot you can do remotely even without having like a meeting space or materials per se.
Yeah, to add on to that, a lot of our outreach is like run online as a team. So there's definitely lots of stuff you can coordinate online over the summer just to reach like a bigger group of people. And that also gives you the opportunity to engage with people like remotely who might live farther away and can't necessarily attend a like in-person outreach session. And that would definitely help with like just spreading STEM knowledge. And then for recruiting just in the off season and the preseason.
I think there's also just being a really inclusive team and making sure that the female members on the team are heard and that they feel like they have a place on the team, so that they're then visible on the team for other people to see that, oh, hey, that person is on the robotics team and they're having a blast, so I can too. I think that's a really important part of FIRST, and sort of for teams that are bound by schools, I think it's really important that they sort of acknowledge and understand the sort of gender gap so that they can make a conscious effort to overcome it.
That's great. One thought I had, and you sort of mentioned it, but I want to go back to it. So this idea, you guys are a long-standing team. So you have the way that you do recruitment. Sounds like you have those that are sort of veteran members, and then you have those who are just newly on the team. How do you guys find a way to balance your veteran sort of outreach participation with your newer members?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. This season in particular, we actually had 4 new members on our team who were completely new to FIRST Tech Challenge. So we were able to find that balance by, I would say that the veteran members served more of a role in outreach by kind of coordinating the event and figuring out the logistics, which is stuff that obviously the newer members wouldn't have experience with. But the newer members still participated heavily by participating in these outreach events. So for example, we hosted a FLL Explorer event for the little kids who are participating in FLL Explorer. And while most of us, the veteran members, mostly like figured out the logistics of the event. All of the rookie members came and they volunteered at the event by helping with the activity for the kid and just like the general flow of the event. So I would say it was more in like planning the event. We had veteran members take a bigger role in that, and in participating and volunteering at the event, rookie members held that role majority.
So this one is, do you guys have any suggestions for how to make sure girls feel included in the workshops you're mentioning while not making others feel excluded, right? So like if it is a mixed gender opportunity, how do you engage with the females? Because that's what you're sort of targeting perhaps, but at the same time, not excluding anyone who doesn't fit in that category. That's a really good question.
Yeah, so I think I can take this question here. So at workshops where, it's boys and girls mixed gender, I think the best thing that we do is like we don't really treat anyone any differently. The really goal of our team is to make sure that women and underrepresented genders have the same opportunities and access to STEM opportunities and STEM initiatives and concepts as anyone else does. So we don't really treat women or men or young boys or girls any differently at these events. However, we do give them the information about our team. So no matter their gender, students they can feel free to email our team and ask any questions they have about joining a first tech challenge team, or if they're not old enough for that, a first Lego like team near them. And we can recruit them to the correct direction to really get involved in that first team and get involved in robotics. So truly at these outreach events, we're making sure that girls feel included in these workshops by giving them the same exact opportunities that we're giving to every other student. And by making sure that they're treated the exact same way as everyone else, they're like, yeah, I can do this too. Like all my peers are having fun, like, coding a little like code in like Python or something. And I can do that too. And I can succeed in that. So by, giving everyone in the room the same opportunity to succeed in these events and to participate in these events, we're making sure that all groups feel included.
That's great. So I think we have time for maybe 2 more questions, and then we'll start wrapping up. So this next question is from Marcellus, and he's asking, we're going to run a summer camp for girls this summer. Due to our current team, it will be 12 male mentors and 1 female member running the camp. How can we make this camp feel welcoming to girls? So many mentors that are male. How do you make that work? That's a great question.
That is a great question. I would say in that situation where you may not have, that ratio that you would want for women to men in your team would be try to have the female member of your team try to take the lead on the summer camp and try to try to present most of the slides, try to lead most of the activities to really emphasize, since based on your question, I'm assuming this camp is solely focused on engaging more women in robotics. So to really have that happen, of course, male mentors can definitely help and like are definitely a great resource for teaching and educating. That's definitely not what we're trying to, dismay them from participating. However, having your female member really take the lead on that and taking the lead in getting more people or getting the students excited and having her do many of the demonstrations could be helpful for the attendees of the summer camp to really see that, someone who looks like them, like a woman who looks like them is also like succeeding in STEM, is leading the workshops for them. And that would definitely help, make sure that the students in the summer camp can feel included and feel like they have a spot in robotics.
And I think there's an excellent follow-up question here too, particularly for the last question, is how can teams, like, do you guys have ideas, both as students, but also your mentors, do you guys have any ideas on how teams can recruit more female mentors in order to serve as role models on teams, regardless of their makeup, really?
Yeah, so I guess, for the Spider Bits and Spider Bites, we're based out of the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. So all of our members are actually employees of APL. So that's how we get all our mentors, be that female, male. We're all engineers working at a company focused on sort of R&D and cutting edge solutions. So sort of looking at people who are already in engineering companies and have engineering careers, those are great mentors for robotics teams.
Yeah. And to add on to that, like, for example, if you're based out of a school, maybe if you could reach out to, different teachers who work at that school who are female, and who may be interested in STEM, who would be willing to, like, mentor your first team by, reaching out to different groups and different, cold emailing people who work at like different STEM companies or people you may see and like another team's like webinar, things like that, like trying to see where you can find connections and find people, adults who are female who may be interested in mentoring your team can be a great way to recruit female mentors. And our team does that by just having our name out there, like by word of mouth around APL. People hear about the Spider Bits and Spider Bites and like volunteer to become mentors for our team. So I think that kind of format can be similarly put into different situations for teams who are based out of schools, who are also based in their community. I would say going up to connections that you have, whether it's at your school, in your community, at like a company that works near you with and just emailing people or asking people if they're interested in mentoring is definitely the best way that you can recruit role models and female mentors who can serve as like a source of support for your team members.
And there's also the First Alumni Network. So that's also a great resource. There's a lot of us who've been through First and loved it and want to keep on giving back and really enjoy helping teams. And it's another just great resource for finding mentors, people who've just been on First teams before.
Yeah, and to kind of add to that a little bit, the best resource to gain more mentors is existing mentors networks. Like, for example, it doesn't really matter the area in which they're operating. They could be STEM professionals, business professionals. They could work in pretty effectively any field, but they'll have a network generally when it comes to being a working professional. And you never know who within that network, like Sabrina was saying, might be a First alum and is just not aware of what's around them. We've definitely had success with finding people who are like, honestly, I didn't know there was a First team nearby, so that's why I wasn't mentoring when there was one 5 minutes down the road. So leveraging that, the existing capabilities that you have within your own team and pushing that forward can be immensely critical to developing holistically a good mentor base, which in itself multiplies. Like, the best teams in the world, they're the best teams in the world because their mentor base is constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly pushing forward, and that's just it scales. So if you have one, then you have 2 networks, and then 3 networks, and then 4 networks. And as you get more and more people involved, you all of a sudden have a wide reach of people you can communicate and talk to and get your message out to.
Those are all excellent points. So I just want to say thank you so much to the Spider Bits for their presentation, to your mentors for coming out this evening as well. Just what an excellent session with lots of information for mentors, coaches, and young women who are out there in our community who are interested in joining teams. This is just really great information. So we want to thank everyone out in the audience who came. Those of you who watched the video after the fact, we appreciate you. If you do have any questions, you can always reach out to me and I can get you connected to the Spider Bits if you want to get a little deeper on some of their strategies. But ladies, thank you very much. This was an outstanding presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.